I really think this team has the best chance of winning this tournament. What's going on, guys? Jay Hoyt back with you today. Welcome back to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. We're back here on, is this Embassy? I don't even remember what this map is called. I think it's Embassy. But we're here on some hardpoint. We kind of fry a little bit after that gunfight where I got no bullet reg. But we are here with the CDL Major 5 prediction video. After a great set of qualifiers, we are here with the official bracket and the my official predictions for the event. So on your screen is the bracket, but let's start it off. Of course, let's see if I point right. I did it. Optic Texas, back-to-back 5-0s, #1 seed for them. No other team has done that in the history of the CDL, so they said. And that's really cool to do, because Optic right now are peaking at the right time, and they're doing very well right now. Like I said, 10-0 in the last qualifiers, or last 2 sets of qualifiers. So that's huge for them. So going into this matchup versus the Florida Mutineers, very confident, right? There's kind of one team I would say, okay, I'm a little iffy with, and we'll get to that later on. But I feel like this winner's bracket is really solid for Optic, that's for sure. So I predict 3-0 over Florida, right? On land, Optic is just a different animal, if you will. They did really well in qualifiers, like I said, 10-0 in the last 10, and we'll take that, right? Optic 3-0, they move on. Second matchup, Boston Breach versus Minnesota Rocker. I mean, this one's kind of a toss-up for me. Could go either way. Does it really matter who wins? I mean, they're going to lose next round anyway. So let's go Boston Breach. I don't know. Game 5. Does it really matter? Not really. Next matchup, FaZe versus Legion. We got to go FaZe, right? They're the #1 team in the league right now as far as points go. They've always done really well on land, regardless of how the qualifiers go. And it's very hard to bet against this team, especially on land. Vegas, I do like what they can show, but on the other hand, they're facing off against FaZe. And that's just a really, really tough matchup to do. Now, if they were against like a Boston, a Minnesota, Florida, I might have predicted them to win this matchup, but they're not. They're against FaZe. FaZe moves on. Let's say like 3-1. It could be, I don't want to say decently close, but it could be closer than people think, right? I feel like that Vegas team definitely has some upset potential on that squad. Next matchup, last one of the winner's bracket here in round 1. Toronto Ultra versus the New York Subliners. Again, could be a big toss-up for me. Both teams, I believe, in the top 5, top 6, whatever it may be. Two very good teams, obviously. Both winners this year, actually, as well. Subliners with Major 1, the Pro-Am, and then Toronto with Major 3? So, obviously, we got 2 really good squads here. We're going to go Toronto Ultra, though. Should be a good matchup. Let's go Game 5. They move on to the second round. Jumping down to the elimination bracket, round 1 has our loser, Mutineers versus the LA Thieves. I don't know what's wrong with the LA Thieves in this one, but I'm feeling a pretty easy victory. Similar to Optic in this case, LA Thieves are one of our better teams in the league. I almost said Optic. LA Thieves, 3-0 fashion. Mutineers, we'll see. Would we see you next year, right? Because they're not going to be. Isn't Champs just the top 8 teams? I don't remember. But Mutineers out. LA Thieves move on. Next matchup, Minnesota Rocker versus the London Royal Ravens. Royal Ravens just haven't put anything together. I think I just saw a stat, I think it was on Reddit, where it showed like the SMG duos, like who works the best together, who has the best like KD, who has a certain percentage of this or a map win rate or whatever the stat was, and London was in by far the worst, right? With Asim and Yuli was by far the worst SMG duo in the league. So Rocker, not much better, but I still feel like they have the edge in this one. London just hasn't put it together, all year or kind of at all. Next matchup, Vegas Legion versus the Seattle Surge. This one could be close, right? We do have Legion winning this one. And I just don't know what it is, but the Seattle team, after this year, is going to implode. Just plain and simple. I feel like if they wanted to build the best roster, they'd keep Sib and Pred, and then figure out 2 other players to put around them, and hopefully they can, you know, figure out a good team that would work well with Pred and with Sib. But this one, we're going with Vegas, right? We gotta give Vegas a little bit of love. Like, I feel like that team is so... What's the word I want to use? Like, I feel like they could be really good, but they're just not. I don't know how to explain it even better. But we do have Vegas, like I said, winning this one against Surge. They move on to the second round. Next matchup, Subliners versus the LA Gorillas. This one, you know, it was a tough first matchup for Subliners. When we have them losing Toronto, obviously 2 really good teams. But this one, I don't feel like it's going to be very close at all. Subliners, 3-0. LA Gorillas, I just don't have much confidence in that team at all. Up to the winners bracket, round 2. We have Optic versus Boston. And yeah, this one's not going to be close either. I feel a 3-0. Again, Optic, again, is super good right now. They're peaking at the right time. They're getting better, it seems like, every single stage. Like, they're in contention every single stage. Like, they're another team that's hard to bet against right now. They're looking super good. Optic, we'll say 3-0. Could be like a 3-1. Maybe they steal like a search or like a control or something. I don't know. But Optic move on regardless. They move on to the winners finals. Boston Breach drop down to elimination bracket. Next matchup, we got FaZe versus Ultra. A very good matchup. But here's the thing. Atlanta FaZe is there. I think they've only missed a handful of grand finals, and obviously they're one of our best teams for a reason, and it's very hard to bet against them. As we say every single time we predict any of their matches, it's always very hard to bet against this team. FaZe, though, we have them moving on versus Toronto. Should be a good matchup. We'll go like 3-1. Could be like 3-2. Probably the game 5, though, would be an absolute banger of a series. And we have a rematch. Optic versus FaZe in the winners finals. Dropping down, though, to the elimination bracket. In round 2, we got Thieves versus Rocker. Should be a pretty, I don't want to say easy matchup for Thieves, but should win pretty, I don't want to say easy, but pretty good, right? Thieves move on. Let's say 3-1. Could be like, you know, well, no, we'll go 3-0, right? 3-0. Could be 3-1. Maybe they steal one in there, but we're going to go 3-0. Next matchup, Legion versus Subliners. We actually have the upset here. Why? I don't know. But we're going to go with the upset. We're going to have Legion moving on for another great matchup going into round 3 of the elimination bracket. We have Breach versus Legion. Right after Breach dropped down. This should be a pretty good matchup, right? The 2 kind of teams that, I don't want to say underperform, but just haven't really put it together. We're going to have Vegas moving on, right? I don't know what it is, but this Vegas team with Clayster, they got to show something eventually, right? It's getting towards the last part of the year. They need points. Clayster wants to be at champs. He wants his 4th ring. So, like, this, I don't know if it's going to happen, but he's got to be at champs in order to do so. We're going to go with the Vegas Legion victory here to move on to the top 4. Other matchup in the elimination bracket, round number 3. Another great matchup, Ultra versus Thieves. I actually spelled Thieves. No, did I spell Thieves wrong? No, we spelled it right. Ultra and Thieves, though, should be an absolute banger of a matchup, right? 2 of our top 4 teams. Top 5 teams? Top 4 teams? Where are they now? 2 of our better teams in the league. Should be a banger of a matchup. We have Thieves winning this one. You know, I feel like they're just one of our better teams. And just kind of a coin flip in order to pick this victor, for sure. So our top 4 right now, Optic versus FaZe in the winners bracket final. And in our top 4 is Thieves versus Vegas. And it's probably going to be pretty clear who I have winning in these ones, but we're going to have the Thieves winning in the elimination bracket, taking out Vegas to move on to the top 3. Up in the winners bracket, you know who we're going with. Optic Texas. They have FaZe's number all year long. They've always beat them pretty consistently and always seem to end up with the victory. So we're going Optic in that one. I'll say 3-1 just to be safe. But, you know, Optic has, like I said, has done really well against the FaZe team, especially this iteration of the FaZe team. But that sets up an elimination bracket final with the LA Thieves versus FaZe. And we're going to go FaZe in this one, right? Don't know what it is. We kind of had a little bit of a coin flip of what team could be there. Both these teams have the talent. Both these teams can be there. Both teams can win a tournament. The problem is, we have Optic on the other side. And I feel like Optic FaZe should be a really good matchup. FaZe usually plays pretty well against the LA Thieves. You know, we'll go with that coin flip and have FaZe winning the elimination bracket final. Like I said, ending up with a matchup as a rematch versus Optic Texas, where our boys are going to finally win 4. We said 4-1. Should be a good matchup, regardless of what the map count is. Should be a banger of a matchup. Like I said in the intro, this team is, I don't want to say destined to win this one, but Optic's peaking at the right time. They're doing really well. And whether it's this map, as long as they win champs, I don't care what happens the rest of the year. Because they've been good enough that they've had a solid year. But it would just cap off the year as a really big victory for the Green Wall, for the Optic fans, for this team that's gone through so much to get here, with Scump retiring, Illy in and out of the lineup, Dashy in and out of the lineup, Hook in, Dashy out, Illy back in, Dashy and Hook back in. There's been so much change with Optic this year. It's time, right? They haven't won a champs since 2017. They got to do it this year for sure. Optic 4-1. They're peaking at the right time. I feel like they're going to do it here. Hopefully they win back-to-back tournaments here, get Major 5, and then win champs. Be a perfect ending to a great year already. But that's going to do it for today's video. If you did enjoy, hit the like button down below. If you haven't yet, or if you're brand new here, make sure to subscribe. Turn on post notifications to never miss an upload. And don't forget, you can always change your mind later. With all that being said, guys, we'll see you in the next one.